Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary's Magic stream on tonight, Sunday, November 11th, 2018. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big Cheese.
Arquette, and with us today we've also got
Ivory Starlight.
Yeah, Avery, welcome to the stream.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So,
Continentals.
Continentals?
It happened.
Yeah,
It did happen.
that was a thing.
It was amazing. I lost 0 games.
You did.
I believe you lost to Mosh Pit.
Not during Continentals.
I believe you lost to Mosh Pit regardless.
I
He
mean,
didn't lose to
that-
Moshpit. He lost to Yellow Parasprite. Let's be real.
I mean,
that's-
yeah.
Ban Yellow Parasprite.
Nope. I gotta get my poppy points somehow.
It's a great way to do them. Yes, Continentals happened, and it was a ton of fun. A huge thank you to everyone who came out to participate. We hope you had as much fun playing as we did organizing and running it, which is, we hope you weren't stressed out of your mind for the 2 months leading up to it.
Yeah, basically.
But it was a great time.
It's kind of an interesting way to put that.
I mean,
Yeah, okay, fine. I get it. Well, you were sitting there being like, oh no, what am I going to run? I don't know what I'm going to run.
and I made the wrong choice, and I should have run combo, but that's okay.
Maybe not. We'll have
second
to see
Burb.
about that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think the results, as we'll show in a little bit, say that maybe it's not the best choice.
Well, tonight we'll get a chance to look back on the top 16 decks from Continentals, and also just reflect a little bit on the convention as a whole before we kind of break down the spoilers that we've gotten for Friends Forever so far. Because turns out there have been a few, and we've doubled our spoiler quantity in the last 24 hours.
You
More than
may also
doubled?
want to. Yeah, it was more than doubled. Yeah, you may also want to stick around because we might try to double it again.
Or at
Maybe.
least come close.
We'll try. We'll see.
We'll see what we can do. Anyway, let's throw some numbers out there for Continentals first. We had, I believe, 29 players participating in Continentals this year.
Yep.
That was great to see. It was the first time we had run Continentals at Ponyville Cider Fest. It was the first time Sim had ever run Continentals. And we appreciate Ponyville Cider Fest giving us all the support that they did. It was a great experience. We saw a pretty wide variety of decks, I would say.
I would concur. There was some very interesting and off-the-wall stuff showing up at this one.
Not everyone was running Skystar or Tempest.
Mono Yellow made top 16.
Yeah. It was quite a bit wider field than people had predicted.
Yeah, it's interesting. It looked like a lot of people were really trying out some creative new builds for a major core competition like this. So who knows what the next one will bring. For now, do we want to go ahead and take a look at the list that we've got?
Yeah, I think let's dive in here.
Sure. Let's start with Max's deck.
I
Starting
believe
at
we're
top
going-
16.
I believe we're going in reverse order. Or
Yes.
top 16 if you want to follow along at home.
So he called this the Vancouver Special.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's kind of like a mix of Burb and Chaos Control without the chaos.
Well, let's go look through here. So we've got all the good fun stuff. We've got berry flops, of course. We got paper ties. We got factory jacks. We've got a bunch of resource removal. This is proper. Desert Road. There's a very high incidence of good cards in this deck.
Yep, Interdimensional Portal, Desert Road, Selena Blue, Factory Jack, Paper Twilight, Bait and Switch, Breakdown, BPOS.
Yeah. No, lots of good stuff in here. We've got. I appreciate those breakdowns. I really do.
It's not going to be the last time we'll see them.
No, it's not. Oh my, no, it's not.
So definitely a control list here. Only 2 grubbers for the troublemakers, which is interesting. No mimics in here. But a deck that I guess is just trying to keep the board clear as much as possible. And even though there aren't any chaos effects, the 2 Tempest and grubbers here can serve as a good method of putting a troublesome opposing friend on top of its owner's deck before flipping it away with staff.
I mean, there's that, or you could just bail out it and come after with breakdown.
That's true. Also works. And Coriander, Cumin, plus IDP for a little extra hand disruption.
Breakdown is such a mean card.
Breakdown's a great card.
Yeah, talking with Max after the tournament, he was saying that it worked pretty well early game, but because it doesn't have any point acceleration, you'd like run out of gas towards the end. So depending on how your match went, sometimes you just couldn't close it out.
Yep, that's true.
Anything else?
I remember Max mentioned he was trying to figure out what deck to play last minute and was kind of being torn in 2 different directions with each of the decks that this kind of draws inspiration from.
And then he's like, why not both?
Right.
Seems like a good call.
Wanna take a look at the next one?
Yep.
So next up was Jeff with Burb. This is probably not the last we'll see of this deck.
No, it's not, because there's only 4 of them here.
It's so good.
And I believe, I don't know if they're all card for card identical, but we'll capture the main points here.
Yeah. Go for it.
Sure, it's Burb. It does Burb things.
That's, I think, about all that needs to be said.
Yeah. So we've talked about Burb many times before, actually. But just as a quick recap, the whole point of this deck is it's like it's a control deck that has to play the aggro game to catch up on points, essentially. And so you've got the Moon Dancers and Selena Blue to be able to quickly double confront. But really, it's about saying you can't play friends. If you try to play a friend, it will go away.
Entry is not allowed.
No entry for you. And, oh please, please don't play resources. Especially not Desert Road. And really, it's getting value out of your interplay abilities. So I forget what the count is, but like there's 11 different portal effects, and like everything is interplay. So
yeah,
there's a few. Yeah, the Burb decks are all not card for card identical, but they are very, very close. We'll get to the one that is most different almost all the way at the end, though.
Mm-hmm. Part of the reason that we see Burb being so prominent is it's a pretty straightforward game plan, and it's not a super expensive deck to build either. A pair of sticks are definitely the hardest parts to get. Were. Yes, that's true. Still probably are. And the Rest in Pieces and Wrathfuls are good synergies, but people can really kind of tweak this deck to their particular meta or their particular tastes, and I think we'll actually see that in a couple of these other lists here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely established itself as an archetype, and I'm sure we'll see something resembling this for the foreseeable future.
Yep. Let's move on to the next one. You've got Tim's deck. It's Fluttershy, mono yellow.
This was my personal favorite.
This was scary to play against.
Yeah, it was.
Did you both play against it?
Yeah, I lost against it in Swiss and then had to play against it in top 16 first round. And barely managed to eke out the win at 15-14 and 15-13.
Wow.
Jeez.
Turns out, when you're trying to use breakdown and exhaustion effects to hit very impactful friends, and your opponent's most impactful friend constantly frightens itself and can't be exhausted, it feels bad.
Kind of can't do anything about that Bunyip, can you?
Yeah, man, Bunyip is so good in the current meta right now.
No, what really makes this scary is the day shift in Bunyip. So it's like, okay, great. There's always going to be a Bunyip at a problem. And then they're never going to be confronting that problem on your turn. So you best find a way to cause a DFO to get that Bunyip home, except, oh wait, oops.
Yeah, and take a look at this problem deck here. The most amount of power you'll ever need to confront a problem here is 5 on Cult of Personality. And that is assuming that you don't just have a Fluttershy with a stick exhausting at home.
I just realized this deck's running Vapor Trail.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. I don't believe she ever helped the player out here, but there she is on probation.
Her presence is all that's needed.
She's back.
Back again.
With a vengeance.
The Nova was also especially scary here because if it's not immediately apparent from the main being at home contributing its power and Marble Pie not being able to contribute and Bunyip being frightened, you're not going to have a lot of power in face-offs with this deck.
Nope.
So you're really forcing your opponent to choose to use their removal very carefully, because Day Shift is a huge threat, Bunyip is a huge threat, but if you just leave a Novo at a problem, it can be hard for the opponent to deal with.
I'm going to be honest, I'm way more scared of the Bunyip than anything else in this deck.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't know if this was recorded, but I believe that was reflected in one of my plays against this. I'm just like, no, I cannot put up with that Bunyip. I am perfectly willing to waste an entire turn making that thing go away.
That's
Bunyip
fair.
is scary.
Great to see Yellow come out in force in top 16, though. Very cool deck team.
Oh, yes.
Okay, on to the next. We've got Tempest from Andy. Tempest Storm. What's her actual name? Storm Commander?
Storm Commander. No, this is a Chaos Control list.
Yes, it is. I think the party of one is different, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, party of one.
There's a few cards here that are different. The Changeling Throne and the Party of One are there in place of one of the photo finishes, as well as the Zaps.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
And the Trixie is there in place of the Nightmare Moon Blackest Night.
Yeah.
And I think those are pretty good calls.
It's interesting. It's more of a farming tact then.
There's a little bit of
bit.
farming. It's
Though
more
it's
just...
also-
Sorry,
yeah,
go
so-
ahead.
It's also good resistance against opposing Chaos Control. And, of course, in case someone tries to go incredibly wide.
Party of one.
Exactly. Yeah, I really like these changes to the list. If I were to run Chaos Control, it would probably be something similar to this, so I think Andy made some really good calls. And it certainly showed. He had a great showing.
Yeah. Okay. On to the next. This was Sean with Solano.
This is a very unconventional, but
Pirates are
Do what you want, because a pirate is free.
You are okay.
Wow, a Lazy Town reference.
I can do more, but we can hold off for now.
Sure you can, but let's not do accelerating we are number one, huh?
That's fair.
So I didn't actually get to really see any of the games this deck was in. Did either of you face up against it?
I did, actually, in round 1 of Swiss.
I did not. I see a lot of pirates, though.
I see a
Like-
lot of annoying Rainbow Dash frightening things.
Yeah, I see it's not running Scootaloo, so it doesn't have all of the annoying things, but it's got an awful lot of them, yeah.
I mean, it has Thunder Lanes.
It has Thunderlane. It also has Seleno plus Pirate Ship. I think that's worth mentioning.
Free movement.
Free movement.
Free movement is good.
Hey, it's free movement.
Wow.
We are
Wait.
too far gone.
We're just on nostalgia trip here, all right.
Basically.
It's not even that old. Kind of old, but
It's pretty old.
It
That's
checks
pretty
out.
old. Ah, my God.
I can keep going. We can keep doing this. No, it's really neat to see. Orange, blue definitely have some excellent cards, and there are many of them in here. Big Mac does
First
very well
Mate
for resource
Mullet.
removal. Yeah, First Mate Mullet is just a stupid card.
Stupid good.
yeah.
Trot, Desert Road, Styx, Plushy Dash, Jerk Face.
God, I hate that card.
We don't talk about that card.
What? That's like the best card.
It's so mean.
And it's even got a way to get rid of it on its own. You just scare it.
Yep.
Hate.
Nah, seems good.
So cool list.
Okay.
Nice to see a strong color combination represented.
Up next, we've got another Seleno list. This one has a slightly different playstyle. Actually, a little bit more than slightly. Well, this is from Jonathan.
Who entitled this, of all things, Turn Down for Mutt.
Boo.
Boo.
I like that. It's a good name.
It's pretty awful, so I give this a 5 of 7. Good deck name.
But yeah, this is a Seleno combo, where we define combo like the same way that Pile was combo. It's just trying to get as many uses out of Seleno's trigger as possible, while still being able to play the aggro game.
It also has a couple of other fun tools like Rarity Pony Pirate, which admittedly is overcosted, but 3 points in a single turn. And by the way, not confronting that problem next turn. Not too bad.
Ooh, Max mentions that in one game, Jonathan managed to get all 3 rarities out there in a single turn.
That's terrifying.
That's
I
a
don't know.
point swing.
I don't know if that's as good as the one he had when this was still running Night Glider Overpowerings.
Oh, God.
You remember that, yeah.
I
Yeah.
very much remember that.
Yeah, that was funny. But this deck
For
has
him.
been seen at several conventions over the course of the year. It's been some changes in it.
Did we
Most-
first see it at Everfree?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't it make an appearance before Everfree? At Babs, maybe?
Yes, it did make an appearance at Babs. That's right.
Oh yeah, Babs is before Everfree. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tweaked it slightly before BronyCon.
And he tweaked it slightly again. And I believe his comment on the floor was, I managed to resist the temptation to adjust it a little bit.
That sounds about right.
So much point acceleration here.
But
Yep. Using, for those who haven't seen it, you use Tempest Shadow Easy if Pi to turn Seleno back to her start side so you can pay 2 AT and flip her and score 2 points again. And you use Cerberus to turn Easy as Pi face down, and Discord Captain was to get her back. So it doesn't happen all at once, but over a couple of turns, you're getting quite a few points and not really having to change your board state at all.
Yeah, and if the opposing control is just you can't confront control, then you don't really care, because you don't need to confront. You do kind of care if they're blocking off the problem so you can't use your troublemakers, but...
That's what cracking the case is for.
Yep.
Alright, next list.
Yeah. We've got Garrett with a Princess Luna deck. Dream Warrior.
Luna yellow.
Luna yellow, yeah.
This was a cool deck to see.
And it's not got the bunyips, but we see Day Shift. I would be amazed to see any yellow deck without Day Shift.
Bunch of entry, a ton of dilemmas.
3 Nightgliders, 3 Plushy Dashes, 3 Loyal Ponies, 3 Rutherfords, 3 She's On It's.
An awful lot of...
The yellow entry is interesting. Running, forget what that's called, but the 4/4 that puts a critter into play, I think. That's quite expensive, and considering everything in yellow except for a friend, friends are always there, is 2 rec.
I think the one thing I'm really surprised to not see in here, given all these critter token making things, is Shoe Shine.
Yeah.
Well, with the exception of Friends Are Always There, it looks like he's trying to keep the rec for yellow down to 2.
That's fair.
Oh yeah, there's only a single copy of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only resource removal?
No, he's
No.
also
Oh
got
no,
3
he's got
friends.
the Ryans. Okay.
No,
And-
he's complying with the rules. Everything's good. We're okay.
And the problem deck definitely supports the blue as a primary color here.
Oh yeah, no yellow rec. Okay.
I mean, Bluna's gonna Bluna.
Yep.
That she is. Okay, let's take a look at the next deck. We've got Leo with Skystar Orange. Now, I didn't play against this deck in Continentals, but I did play against it outside of that. And it can be quite annoying to play against.
The Balloon Oculars plus Princess Cadence are definitely interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's still Cadence, but...
Yeah.
but no, like, this is, like, it's got pretty decent hand control and lots of ways to remove your friends. It does play a bit more as control. It's not really aggro, but...
No, but this has a lot of really good tools for being really annoying.
Yeah. Party Hard is still, like, even without main 6, Party Hard is a ridiculous card.
Well, okay, you think that's bad. Let's take a look up here in the top row at Grubber, Baked Bads, and Breakdown.
Yep.
Again, not the last time we'll see those cards.
Unlimited removal. And it still has Berry Flop, like...
Because of course it does.
It has to. It's pink.
And a pair of Pinky's Presents just in case you run out of berry punches.
That's terrible.
I mean, you've got bodyguards there too to eat stuff. There's lots of things that this can do to be annoying.
Thank you, Sonnet, for... I forgot that name of the card combo.
Bake it down.
That's fantastic.
Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of power cards here. And you're going to make a lot of unicorn tokens, assuming the opponent is playing friends.
Yeah. I think possibly the best part of this deck is the name. So, unpronounceable, the deck formerly known as Prance.
Oh, yes, I almost forgot the name.
I believe that's our last top 16 deck, yes?
Yes. Up next, we're going into top 8. Starting with Scott with a Princess Luna Dream Warrior deck. Dream Warrior Pink.
This looks an awful lot like Hot Wings to me.
I don't see any berry flops. I see belly flops.
Yeah, but no berry flops. This is actually
Yeah,
quite far from Hot Wings. Like, it shares the color, but
There's a common ancestry somewhere.
there is.
Yeah, I'll grant you that. This is, on a card-by-card basis, fairly different than Hot Wings, yeah.
Still moves pretty fast, though, from the looks of it.
Oh yeah.
I would not be surprised.
One stick is interesting. I'm going to assume that was not having 3. Because just the Luna moving 6 power body is just so powerful.
I like the Pinkie Pie Joyous Sea Pony. I think in Luna Pink that's an excellent inclusion, since Pinkie is going to be your primary source of entry.
Yeah, with so many pinkies.
Just gives you yet another hasty friend you can play.
Which gives you
Hasty
another
friend
body
at
to
2
play.
for 4. Like,
Yeah, and another body to play next turn to get Luna back up there.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, Call in the Dream Cavalry is also a very, very good card. Interesting choice on the problem deck. We see in the Temple of Chico Montauk.
That's the one that had the unfortunate confront
Yeah.
wreck, right?
Yes,
It is indeed.
the printing error on the confront rack. Only
That
one
is-
copy of it.
That is interesting. I do find it kind of interesting. Like, I understand why, but the locked out are also a very interesting choice here with their 0 bonus.
I mean, you can generally rely on your opponent to at least have 1.
You generally can, but I still think that's kind of interesting.
And that's the starting problem in this. Well, I don't know what their primary starting problem was, but might have just been a second chance. Oh, there's no trading traditions. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bold move.
It is, especially running Angel Wings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
How
Angel
much-
Wings is clearly a great card, but means you're only running 6 pieces of pink entry.
Well, I suppose it's not entirely out of the question because you can only do the magical Christmas time turn 2 DFO if your opponent is running something with a low enough confront rec for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that might have been a meta call that I think that maybe a lot of people are going to be running starting problems with higher rec. That maybe trading traditions isn't going to be as prevalent as it might be.
It's true. Especially with a new card coming out, which we'll talk about soon.
Oh.
Let's go to the next one.
So up next, we've got David with Scootaloo. This is the first Scootaloo we've seen. Quite a bit of
Scoot's
blue
yellow.
we've seen, but yeah, Scoot's yellow. And there's Sushine, right where she belongs.
Yep. And some Night Gliders, and some Jerk Faces, Pirate Dash, Plushy Dash, Sticks.
This is a mean deck.
Yeah. If you're going to run Scootaloo Yellow, this is probably as good a way as any to build it.
I could be wrong, but I believe this is the same deck he used at BronyCon, and yeah, it is. It moves pretty fast.
Yes, it does. Shoeshine the Destroyer.
Yep, we see 4 dilemmas, which will be useful for getting around troublemakers. Shoeshine can obviously just be a terror on her own, as can Plushy Dash. CC and Flitter. Brian's to dodge removal of your extremely high power Shoeshines or Night Gliders. Yeah. And save the day in the problem deck. I mean,
Why
this
not?
This is very, very solid. Seems good. plenty of resource removal. Like the numbers, this is almost exactly how I would end up building a Scootaloo Yellow. I really like the number choices of cards here. The only thing I'm a little questioning on is the Fluttershy growing up as the friend.
What would you rather have?
Oh, maybe Sunshower.
But a 2-power body
Yeah,
as
maybe
opposed to a 1-power body.
Yeah, just to get Day Shift online a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The entry here is a little concerning because you can do what is this flip with? I've seen Loyal Pony and
8?
Styx.
Loyal Pony and Kind Pony. He's running Concerning Cutie Mark as his starting problem.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's got 8 ways to flip.
Yeah. Only 3 of those can get you a turn 1 flip though.
Yeah, but like
So, I don't know. I might have replaced the Fluttershy growing up with some gummies to give you a possible other option to do a quick flip.
Oh, that's an option.
But that's maybe it. 'Cause that also isn't that reliable.
Yeah. Looks good though.
Yeah. On to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Got this deck from someone that I don't even know who they are. And never heard of them. This is
So this one,
this is Matthews.
You troll.
Skystar.
Skystar is a Stone Cold. Yay!
Yes.
That is the name of the deck, yes.
Orange, white, pink. Well, I guess pink, orange, white
Correct.
would be the correct order here. But yeah, it's Skystar being mean.
It's a murder fest.
Just looking at this, like one word comes to mind, and that word is Blue Fairy. As I see bodyguards, and I see party hards, and all kinds of other shenanigans.
Backup Dancers is so good in this deck.
Yeah, Backup Dancers is kind of ridiculous with Party Hard. And with Breakdown as well.
I was about to say, don't forget the breakdowns, because
Oh, I would not forget the breakdowns.
we've got
But
Breakdown.
you've got only but you have one grubber.
Sure, but I've got 2 Honest Ponies, and I've got a couple of Bailouts, and I've got the 3 Backup Dancers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of exhaustion here. Not to
How
mention
exhausting.
friends that will naturally exhaust like Paper Twy and
Is it
Selena.
an exhausting deck to play?
It is an exhausting deck to play.
That was awful.
That was the intent.
The one Luna's Future is in here just to deal with Desert Road because Big Mac alone is not a good enough answer.
Yeah. I think I remember that decision. It was like one of those late changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what do I do?
It's always a good idea to change your deck right before the tournament.
It really is.
I think that's happened to me every time I've gone to a tier 2 or tier 3 event.
Nah.
I think the only other last minute change was swapping the photo finishes out for Changeling Thrones to give a better matchup against Chaos Control. But yeah, pink orange can remove stuff really, really well.
Yeah. But as for this for this tournament, the Changeling Thrones weren't too effective, I don't think.
They were pretty good in a few matches of giving me the points that I needed,
Yeah,
and they
for
definitely
points,
helped
but-
against Chaos Control.
Did you? Oh yeah, we did have the Chaos Control, but there
Mhm.
was only one. But I guess it would help against that deck. Yeah.
So, fun list. What's next?
What's next is Joshua.
Top.
Well, yes. So no, this is still top 8.
Yeah, you're right.
But Joshua with Lyra Handy. This is the
Well, there is a main we haven't seen in.
for forever. I actually think we saw her a bit last year, but
Quite possibly.
This was a pretty cool deck to see.
so what was this aggro or control or
This was Control.
okay
It looks like an aggro deck.
ish?
but it is absolutely control.
Okay. Oh
Like,
yeah,
you'll s-
the smart cookies are there for a good reason. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that's interesting. We'll see some of the same tools as before, of course. Berry flops, bake down, um, but we see more removal in here as well. We see 3 food fights.
A rack of berry flops, of course.
Uh,
Some bake downs.
the cool synergy here is Apple Bloom Remarkable and Follow My Lead.
Go ahead and discard that and then get it back when you move something.
Sure. Especially because you also have Pirate Ship, so you can move Haven Bay with Pirate Ship to make Haven Bay get larger, and then exhaust Haven Bay to draw a card, and in the process of moving Haven Bay, also get back Follow My Lead.
Yeah. Follow My Lead is an interesting card. Oh yeah,
Lyra can
did we give
obviously
the
get-
name of this deck yet?
No, go for it.
Pookum Makookum.
Bugle coming out with the M word there.
The M word. But yes, I think I remember we were asking him. It's like, what's the deck's name? It's like, I don't know, Pookum Makookum.
So next year, if he plays some
It's
kind
the
of
Blukum?
Night Glider based aggro, is it going to be Blukum Makookum?
It's going to be Ukum Makookum.
Sure.
Just slicing a letter off the front.
Very cool, very creative list. Some neat engines going on there. And a lot of removal, of course.
So I think that's the last of our top 8s.
Yep. And
Let's talk
now
about
we
top
are
4.
on to top 4. Starting with Steven. And hey, look,
it's another burb list.
it's Burb.
Hey.
And this had a few changes. I believe the Singing
is-
Barrel.
No, it is swapping a Discord for a Pinky and Twilight, I believe.
Yep, that's it.
Okay, yeah.
Which, gonna be honest, probably a good meta call given what showed up. Lots of problems to be replaced.
Yeah. 'Cause I think that I was arguing that well, yeah, because back when Farm was a big deal, you had to have the Pinkies, the Twilight
Right.
Pinkies. And when that fell
were
back,
more-
it was like, we can go back to 2. But
More relevant for dealing with AJ and her incessant troublemaker farming.
Ivory, where would you have fallen on the Burb spectrum of Pinky and Twilight versus Tempest Shadow versus Discord?
I always preferred to have 3 Pinkie Pie and Twilights, but I might run the 3 Tempest and Grubbers as well, given the playing field. I think I agree with you guys that it was the correct meta call to run the extra one here.
With the full benefit of seeing the field, I probably would have gone 3 Discords, 3 Pinky and Twi's, and just dealt with the 2 Tempest and Grubbers.
That big body is useful for confronting, though. It's a
It
trade-off
is.
you have to make.
But that 3 power with the Eccentric is also pretty annoying too.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
up next, it's Farm.
Dave,
Taft.
But I thought Farm was dead.
Yeah, clearly,
No.
no.
Farm will
it-
never die.
Taft
Not this
brought,
kind of farm.
Rainbow Dash purple with a splash of orange.
I think he called this deck not dead yet.
I love that this did so well.
Oh
Yeah, and
this
I think towards the end there he was like amazingly surprised at how well he did. But it was like people weren't expecting Farm, and so you kind of lower the farm tools in your deck, and this is like it's a good deck.
Well, people weren't expecting farm, and this is a really weird farm build. Like, I don't think anybody was ready even to see this show up. Never mind deal with it. And I don't know. I'm not surprised that this did well. This is so bizarre that it's like, well, great. None of the field is prepared for this.
Did the rest of the field not have enough prepared?
No, it did not.
I mean, there were a lot of bodyguards. That's pretty prepared.
It's fair.
Boo.
Good suite of 11 epics.
Got a lot of ways to manipulate the top of the deck. A couple of light chaos things here. The Big Macs are actually really funny here because you get to put a +1 power counter on the main.
Two of
And
them.
hey, what do we know about mains that get big?
They kind of stay big.
They kind of get broken.
They
Yeah.
beat things up.
Seems good.
They get their troublemakers cracking the case 3 turns in a row.
Well,
That
also
was
but
that was
We'll-
terrible.
we'll
I
talk
actually
about
did
that.
watch that game.
we'll talk about that. Just wait.
Yeah, very, very cool list, though. The Pipsqueak in here is just super clutch. For the, wow, you used your disruptive tool to prevent me from winning during my troublemaker phase. It's a good thing I don't care.
I'll do it now.
Gotta do it twice.
Go ahead and start a main phase face-off against one of my own troublemakers with this 1,000,000 action tokens I've got here.
Because I don't have to spend anything on normally playing the game? Correct.
Go ahead and drop a Thunder Lane and then Thunder Lane the world. Yeah.
Yeah, cool stuff. Very, very cool farming deck. A lot of flips from the problems as well. A lot of help in problem face-offs in general from the problems.
Yep, good problem suite. All right.
That is the end of our top 4. Let's talk about our finalists.
Yay, top 2. Wait, haven't we seen that? It's another verb
I
from
think we've
George.
Yay.
But this one did have a pair of interesting tech tools.
So this ends up with 3 Pinky and Twice and 3 Discords, but there's also 2 other very more significant changes in here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The magical misfire, which is actually pretty relevant in this the meta we saw at Continentals, and it's also got a mysterious disappearance, which is a more immediate resource removal, which was also kind of relevant.
Yeah, locked several players out of their color off of Singing Barrel when they were playing multicolor decks. Tricolor decks, that is.
Yeah,
You get your one shot, and you better make it count. Spoilers.
and this deck definitely had the best chance of the burbs against the deck that won, but we see it wasn't enough.
But it was still a very cool burb list. Nice tech choices. It was cool to see all of those lists within just a few cards of each other, but everyone just kind of making their own calls on the meta.
Yeah.
It's one of the nice things about Burb is you can shift it as you need to, and it still accomplishes the same thing.
Very true. All right, so in a meta of bakedowns, berry flops, more sticks than you can shake a stick at.
To summarize, friend removal.
What does this top deck look like?
Let's take a look.
What it looks like is it looks at this meta and says, friend removal. How about no?
No friends, none at all.
Rarity has no friends.
Aha, you have no friends. So this was Luke with Meanie Belle's big sister. Because you look at all these resources and you're like, oh yeah, sure, this is a Sweetie Belle deck. Nope.
Nope. It's actually a rarity deck. And Yikes. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what it's not? It's not Toolbox.
Well,
it is not Toolbox.
The only reason it's not Toolbox is because
there's no card that says search
Core
for
doesn't- Correct. It's as close to Toolbox as you can get. But this packs a lot of very interesting tools.
Stuff that you just don't see elsewhere. Cold waves, petite sneezes,
Wrinkle in Times.
wrinkle in
Fashion
times,
disaster.
wake up calls. Yeah.
Dude, it's using Castle of Friendship for AT acceleration.
Like, who does that?
That's a
Seriously.
bold move, Cotton. And you know what? It worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Because this deck says, you want to waste some removal on a Castle of Friendship? I am fine with that.
Gonna need a few more resource removals than 3 for this one.
Yeah, I believe that the hardest time was, I think in top 4, it was up against. I have a hard time, whatever. Anyway, up against
it was Bird v Verb and farming versus
yeah,
this.
farming versus this, and I think that was actually the hardest game for this deck. Was against farm.
But against farm, you have to be careful about playing those Chrysalises because Bastard Loyalty will just beat it.
Well, provided
not
you don't
careful.
have three wrinkle in times, 2 cracking the cases, and 3 copies of cleaning up. It would
And
be a
play
real
the-
shame if you were to
And draw them all
have all of those cards.
every game.
Better lucky than good, I guess.
Sometimes all you need is luck.
That's fair.
So the Wrinkle in Times are very key to that matchup because they banish a flipped card, which means that that card no longer contributes to your power in the face-off, and that right there can swing the result of a face-off.
Just a little bit.
It also means that some of the stuff that would like to be constantly reflipped, like, say, Big Mac, just no.
Oh, that's a Chaos card? Well, it's a darn shame that, 1, it probably didn't work because thrown, and 2, it's going away. Forever!
Yeah, very creative list. Great read on the meta.
I absolutely love this list.
Yeah, it's interesting that Wrinkle in Time is really a lot of these cards are good against multiple decks. So it didn't really matter what the meta was. Like, as long as it was a predominantly friend removal meta, it's got the tools to deal with anything else. Like if Chaos Control had been a big deal, then Wrinkle in Time would have really helped. And I mean, it still helps against farm too.
Yep.
Well, the Changeling Thrones also help against Chaos Control.
Yeah. Those got
Yes,
quite
they
a
did.
few. Like, Chaos Control
Okay.
would not have done well against this deck.
No, Changing Thrones, Fashion Disasters. Basically nothing meaningful to interact with chaos-wise. Would have been bad. The deck does die to combo, which is why I say I should have run combo.
Yeah.
Everyone should have run combo.
The one thing that I think is worth noting about this is if you do manage to get rid of all of the sticks,
And they're
This-
not on blackmail.
and they're not on blackmail,
And
they're
you
not
never
on
let
one
them
of
flip?
the starting problems, this may have a problem, because this cannot confront its problems without a stick, with the exception of concerning Cutie Mark and searching high and low.
Correct. All right. Well, that covers our list of the top 16 decks from North American Continentals 2018. A very diverse field, with just the right amount of burb.
Could have used another one.
Well,
Why did you fly up here?
yeah, that's kind of your fault then, isn't it?
Maybe it is. Or maybe it's not.
He's still sandbagging his list for next year. He's just playing the long con.
Yeah, that's totally it.
But you're gonna be at. Wait, no, that is next year. Wait, we're
Yeah,
done with
yeah.
cons for this year. It's
We are
terrible.
done with cons for this year.
Hey, but we have Vancouver coming up.
We do
Yeah.
have Vancouver coming up. That's going to be January 11th through the 13th, I believe.
It's gonna be amazing.
That sounds correct.
And Sim's gonna be there. In Canada.
Eh?
I wasn't gonna say it.
He just did that, didn't he?
He did just do that. That's racist.
I believe that's nationalist or something. Oh.
Sure.
Come on, be nice to the neighbors up north. They're good. They're great people.
They are good people.
They're
We're gonna go see
okay.
them. We're gonna go see them with a tournament in January. And you know what's gonna be at that tournament?
Burb?
I mean, maybe. But Friends Forever will be out by then.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. So I hear we've got like a new set releasing soon or something.
Something. I hear there's some spoilers that have been coming out recently.
Yeah.
And I hear we haven't talked about any of them yet.
No, we might have released a couple of them at Ponyville Cider Fest, but we didn't talk about them. So we should probably do something about that.
Let's do it!
Okay. Starting with lacking lesson plans. It's a starting problem, and it says, Tempest, you're terrible, go away.
Basically.
Opposing troublemakers can't prevent you from confronting this problem. This is a real boon to all the confront to flip mains, because now they're not just really, really super sad whenever they see Tempest.
It is also worth noting that even though this does take potentially 3 turns for you to get there, although it might be possible to get there sooner, this cannot be DFO'd away turn 2 with Skystar, because that 6, that is too big for Skystar.
Normally, yes.
There
There is
are-
still a way that Skystar can do this on turn 2
There-
with Holiday Spirit.
There are magical Christmas times.
There are magical Christmas times, this is true. But
But-
that involves Skystar running searching high and low. And despite the fact that I continue, or have for a long time said, never don't Skystar chicken, they finally converted me.
It may actually be appropriate again to Skystar Chicken.
I
don't
Well, I
think
mean,
that's true.
Skystar is never going to run lacking lesson plans, so.
Right. Skystar doesn't need this, because Skystar doesn't need to confront to flip. So unless you're playing just pure Skystar aggro, you can afford to run something like Searching High and Low.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
Now, the bigger problem with this is you have to convince yourself to run a Holiday Spirit in a primarily pink deck.
I mean, to be fair, it is a 4-power body most of the time, because let's talk about shells.
I mean, sure. But yes, the problem has clearly been constructed with very specific numbers on it to make it so it's not trivial to confront on turn 2 for you, but most decks will have a way to do it with Stick or Flim and Flam or something specific in their colors. Aloe also helps, of course. It'll be hard for the opponent to DFO it away regularly. And Tempest just can't do squat.
Hey, you get back in your airship and go away.
Yeah.
Now, Grubber is still a frustrating card to deal with.
Really? Huh. Well, it's a darn shame that this next card exists.
Yeah.
Hey,
This card-
hey, Grubber.
Go away.
Get in an airship with Tempest and go away. Also, thank you for dropping this giant bag of gold here. So, yeah, that lovely opening that everyone just hates, where it's Tempest into Grubber at your problem. How about no?
How about you can't block off my problem, so go ahead and just block off yours. And thanks for my free off-color wreck, bro.
Seems good.
It does seem good.
Now, it is important to note that unlike Singing Barrel or Motivational Speech, which will just turn your main that color, which generally helps when your main is flipped, this is more like the Banished Cycle of Friends, which reduce your color requirements by 2 of whatever color you choose. And that's good if your main hasn't flipped yet, or if you're running a bunch of different colors. But it's also worse because a lot of crucial cards in certain colors are going to be at 3 rec or more.
I,
So-
however, would argue that this has a possibly unseen benefit, especially for the confront to flip, or the pay to flip mains, like Queen Novo specifically, or Grubber. Those you want to flip at very specific times And this allows you a way to get into your 3-rec on-color cards without burning your main's ability.
It's very true. So mains, like you say, like Novo, or like Grubber, or Capper.
Capper.
Capper's a main.
Don't you laugh at me. I'm going to run a Capper deck one day.
Sure. How you doing there with your Loving the Ruler deck there, Leo?
Shut up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
That was a bit of a stab.
So
Oh.
Sprite Pony asks about how this card works with Tank Burrower or Make Our Mark. And the answer is both of those are good options because they have you draw, then discard as part of the effect. Yes, in those cases, you can put this card into play instead of discarding because the discard is not a cost. You can tell if a discard is a cost by whether or not it says as an additional cost to play, or whether or not it says discard a card to, like in the case of Apple Bloom Remarkable. It replaces a single discard.
Yeah, so unfortunately, all those neat tricks about Remarkable, Bailout, Snips,
Mysterious Disappearance,
and so on and so forth.
Snails.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are unfortunately all costs, so you can't go replacing those to get this into play for free. Sorry.
You can, however, put this into play for free with Rarity Soprano on turn 1, and then be in 3 colors, and that feels really good.
Teehee.
I mean, oh, that's true. Thank you, Beagle. You can put this into play with Snails. Snails just won't get the counters because you did not discard the 2.
I'm thinking of the Brayburn card from EO. 2 left hooves, I believe.
Oh, okay. So yes, very cool card. Neat piece of
Rest in pieces.
color entry. Wait, what?
I accidentally pressed the wrong button. It's fine.
I just don't know what went wrong.
But I'm okay. This one, I get to do this one because I'm going to be honest, this was mostly just an excuse to post this somewhere, and then when someone was like, "What is this?" I'm just being like, "I don't know what went wrong." And it was amazing.
Wrong card.
It's the right card. It's Delivery Mare.
Band of Derpies.
Band of Derpies.
I don't think
So-
there's a whole lot to say about this. It's a Band of Derpies.
I mean, it's fine. It works well in like a Thorax deck, I guess. And if you can make it big with other things, it's not bad. The comprehensive rules will be clarified somewhat just to make the issue of problem replacement timing more clear. But yes, problems are currently replaced simultaneously.
And I believe that means she would just migrate to the other problem.
Correct.
What else we got here? I think we've had a couple more recently spoiled ones. Two from Meticulous Talks.
Griffin Shopkeeper. This card's actually really interesting as like a turn 1 play. Like, you want to try and confront this problem? Well, that's going to be really tough.
You got enough bits to pay for that?
Exactly.
I have to get something up there, and if you play a character, then I get to draw, and yeah, it's just a cheap tax thing. Sprite, one does not change before the other. They are both replaced simultaneously.
Griffin Shopkeeper is an interesting card. You also have to weigh this against the option of opening with Soprano, which is a well-known thing that, Pink-White likes to do, as it does.
What if you didn't draw Soprano?
Maybe you drew this instead.
Well, and there's actually another question in the context of Fire Friendship, which is, are you really sure you want to Soprano them?
Soprano does get a little riskier now. Griffin Shopkeeper is also a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, it is actually cheap enough that you could start with pink or white, fix into this with fire, for example, and then play it. So there's some options here.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would run this in an Octavia deck, because it doesn't really support the aggro game. And because the way Octavia plays, trying to DFO and save her interplay triggers for DFOs, you're not really going to use it for tempo either.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so this Octavia is a little bit more high-strung, I think. Strung.
Octavia got to go fast. Also, nice string pun.
Ah, thank you.
You're welcome.
You were probably the only one who was going to get that out of
No,
the four of
Colorado
us.
would have gotten that as well if he's here.
I don't think
I
I
don't-
heard it.
Ivory got it.
I did get it.
Okay, good.
It didn't
Alright.
warrant me saying anything.
It wasn't that bad. Dang, I gotta work on my game here.
We'll get you there.
Ivory, thoughts on this card?
I definitely see this going into pink-white control. Definitely not an aggro card. I like the idea of a turn 1 drop, though, especially on a confront to flip main, so you kind of deny them that extra AT.
Yeah, it's a neat one.
Okay.
All right. These have all been pretty tame so far. We are about to go bananas.
What's next?
Do you like bananas?
No.
Silver Stream.
Bananas.
Fish out of water.
No, what I like is people going, oh dear God, how does this work?
It has a bunch of text, which basically says, add more problems, because problems are fun. Oh, and something about stairs. So basically, this puts a problem from a problem deck on top of it, or that was on top of that problem deck, into play as a dilemma. So it's its own thing, and it behaves mostly like a dilemma, but it will be clarified that it doesn't go to the discard pile. No, you can't have a mod at 8 power was...
Dang it, I was
Is what it would
so
be.
close.
No, you can't do that. No, you can't flip a problem for a face-off.
Yeah. It's all, sadly, that can happen. No, it'll just go back on the bottom of the problem deck. But other than that, it behaves as one. And it's pretty cool.
So what you're getting here is a very large body, potentially for way under cost, a new problem to mess with, and the tiers of any control deck that's trying to block the way with troublemakers.
What do you mean? I'm clearly playing control. Can you say 2 blackmails?
I know, like...
Thank you. I
the-
wanted 2 blackmails.
This opens up some really interesting things, because you have all of the problem abilities you can play with here. Including interactions between them.
Yeah. So the 62 problem face-off.
Just-
Sure.
just-
Judge, I have a question. My opponent's running a 50-card problem deck.
I mean, no, but they can
Yeah,
run all their dilemmas,
Can
and
they
then
run
they
all
can
the
do
dilemmas?
this, and they can run this, and
I mean,
it's
you
just
can...
cloney combo. It's literally just cloney combo, except you add like 50 cards.
This
I
is
mean-
terrible.
You can put all the problems into play.
Yeah.
How do you replace problems?
You
God.
don't need to. Because what you'll do is you'll sit here with, I don't know, bodyguards, or
No, but like, there's
Some
no
other
problem
things.
deck left. How do you... Oh god.
You don't. You put it into play, or you play
Yeah.
it, and it does nothing, rather.
yeah, doesn't matter.
No, never mind. I'll talk about it later. But yeah, this is a fun card.
There's one other interaction that we should mention that is also going to be fixed.
Treader Hoof.
Don't worry about it. It's going to be fixed.
Billy Trenderhoof.
Yes.
Can we just like
Ban
He's-
all Trenderhoof cards.
I mean, he's kind of getting to that point now we had 104.3, and then we've got him putting problem decks into discard piles. Like
We had pie eating contest before 104.3.
But pie eating contest was like, okay, sure.
It won a tournament, didn't
104.3
it?
was just like, this doesn't make any sense at all. And then him with Silverstream is like, okay, what?
It's fine. Harmony's a cesspit. It's okay. Just leave it.
Sure.
But it could be not as bad of one.
Eh.
Yeah, it's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably K. It's K.
All right. We have seen one other spoiler since then.
Okay.
So let's highlight that.
It's a Durgan.
It's an entry Durgan.
And it does something.
Now, mine it is overcosted, but that's not a bad effect for mono purple. This, I believe, was spoiled earlier today on the Drada Arcana Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we do have a card that does this. This is Zeroed Out. Or very similar to Zeroed Out.
No, Zeroed Out searches your deck.
Ah, that is right. Forgot about that.
There's your hand, if you can call that searching. But it's entry, which is interesting.
Yeah, this could, in theory, be run in a purple off-color Troublemaker control deck. Maybe like Wonderbolt or something? I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's also important to note that this card functions on entering play, and it is in purple.
Did someone say portals?
And it's an entry card. So
That doesn't give you enough entry to play Portal, but
I mean, sure. But while Burb currently doesn't run Troublemakers with the Skystar list, who knows what could happen?
You want to just go ahead and start dropping some Troublemakers into play at immediate speed?
I mean, we might.
That seems good.
Recall.
Go for it.
I recall someone had a Pauper deck that did that. It was highly annoying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that was you.
I think that was him.
It was me. It was a fun deck.
So that covers our spoilers for today.
Really?
Or does it? Or does it?
Because, new sets tend to come with keywords.
keyboards?
Keywords.
I need a keyboard?
Yeah.
I need a keyboard.
Okay, you can have a keyboard, but it's 3 inches wide.
Can it,
You can play it
Can it be
like
a
color-
model?
No, but Coloratura can play it because it's only got 2 keys.
That's fair. Shots fired. Well,
So what's the worst thing about moving stuff?
that it's slow and
It costs AT?
No, I think the worst thing about moving stuff is that the main phase move action only works, during the main phase.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure about that because it's like right in the name and everything.
Okay. So what can we do about that?
So how do we fix that?
I don't know.
Well, let's take a look. We fix that by being yellow.
So agile is one of our new keywords for this set. And agile says that you can use the move action to move this card as an immediate action.
So note that this is affected by showy. This is not a separate immediate move this card. This is you may take the main move action to move it.
Right, so this will be subject to all the movement taxes.
So it's a little bit more expensive than Thunder Lane, but you get to sit there and say, hey, that trick that Baluna gets to do, what if just some random friends could do that? That seems kind of good.
It does seem kind of good.
And
we have this on an entry card, a yellow 2-for-2 entry. Like we were just talking about what to replace that Fluttershy with in the Scootaloo list.
how about this?
Yeah, how about this thing?
I could go for that.
So this is obviously going to get significantly better if the friend that we're dealing with has more than 2 power. As with it at 2 power, it's just like, okay, well, I can move something at immediate speed, but I could also just play a 2 power something. It effectively costs the same.
Max asks if you can use Pirate Ship for this. No. Pirate Ship is its own modifier, just like all the other types of movement. All this does is say that you can spend 2 AT at immediate speed to move this card, subject to all the normal taxes.
Right. Pirate Ship is not subject to showy. It does not use main phase move action. Or agile.
Right. Now, we said you can spend 2 AT at immediate speed. That's not always necessarily true.
Yeah, it is. It does in fact work with Swift. Let's take a look at the next card.
Oh no. Such fast.
It's like 2 great tastes that taste great together. Now I can spend 1 AT to move this at immediate speed.
Yeah, how about that? Also, we've got Lightning Dust here, which is... we haven't seen her in a long time.
We really haven't. Well, I mean, we
She's-
saw her in the episode not too long ago, but
She's
not that I've
looking
seen that episode yet.
think the
Pretty fly here.
I think the last Lightning Dust card was EO, if I'm
No.
remembering right.
Right around then.
But yeah, that was a long time back. So yeah, check this thing out. Let's go ahead and move 2 power around for 1.
Comeback Queen.
Seems pretty good.
This does, and it shows us that as...
Sorry, you are breaking up a bit there.
Oh, sorry. And it shows us that Agile is primarily going to be on blue and yellow cards.
I'm shocked and appalled that a thing that
Blue
does movement
And-
things would be for aggro.
and
Right.
yellow. Anyway,
Yeah, the four rec on this is a little bit steep, but
it's pretty steep.
it's not terrible.
No, it's not.
There's definitely some cool stuff you can do with it.
To be fair, this is a top-end blue card. This is the kind of thing that you really need to commit to blue to, because this is not that bad. It really isn't.
Okay, so we know what the basics of Agile are. You use your move action, pay however much AT is appropriate, in this case 2 or 1,
Or 1.
if it has Swift, or more if you're moving to somewhere with Showy. And you can do it as an immediate action instead of only being able to do it during main phase. And we know it's on blue and yellow.
But you know what? That's not spicy enough for me. Let's add some spice.
Okay, you want to splash something else in here too?
Some
Yeah, I'm
some
thinking
orange.
orange.
Okay, let's splash some orange in here. Let's see what happens when we add orange. I love the art on this card so much.
Oh, hey, look, students.
His claw looks so giant.
It's a big claw.
It's like as big as her head.
Poor Smolder.
He plays basketball or something. I don't know. Okay, so
Are you cutting out again?
no.
He's
No, you're
wowed.
just sitting
He's
there stunned.
speechless.
Just looking at the art and going, wow, it's so pretty.
This is really good artwork, though.
So this is an agile friend that has the effect of when you confront this card's problem, you may exhaust an opposing character here. So this is interesting because it means that you can use it to confront one problem and exhaust something your opponent has there, then move it to the other problem, confront that problem, exhaust something your opponent has there, and you've just confronted 2 problems. So now you can have a double problem face-off, or a
And a bu-
multi-problem face-off.
And a bunch of their stuff's exhausted, so you're probably going to win.
Sure, that works well. And yeah, that seems like it would take a lot of AT to be able to do, because you have to still be confronting 2 problems.
Also, Drada, I believe you mean pudding.
But let's take a look at the colors this is in and think about what else can happen here. What is something that orange and blue are known for?
Moving fast, and
Fast.
exhausting stuff.
And yeah.
Yep, they move fast, they exhaust stuff, and they can shift power around. So consider using Muffin Mare with this card. You can move a bunch of power onto it, move it up to a problem, and then just move that friend at immediate speed. It can basically serve as a pseudo version of First Mate Mullet.
A little more expensive, but still not too bad.
It's also completely playable just off of Trading Traditions. While it won't flip Muffin Mare, it is nice to get it with just the one rec down. So anything you can do to put extra power on this friend can really reduce the amount of AT that you need to be able to DFO.
Yeah, as we said earlier, at 2 power, this is still pretty good. If you can wind this thing up to 3 or 4 or more power, it starts to get really good.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff here. All right, so that's an aggro take on this with blue.
How about a control take?
All
Let's
right,
mix
sure.
in some purple, I think.
And yellow? Well, I guess we started with yellow, but
Yeah, let's mix in some purple.
So what's going on here?
you get to move things.
You get to move your opponent's things at immediate speed.
Is she booping Twilight's nose?
She
She
might
is
be.
booping Twilight's nose.
Hithrock says, oh no.
It's Spike with taxes.
So this is definitely expensive. It'll cost you 2 AT to move it at immediate speed, and it'll cost you another 1 to character.
I don't know though. Agile is pretty cool, but this also does fun things with day shift. Just saying.
That's very true. If you're running yellow-purple aggro, or purple-yellow aggro, and this gets moved for anything, that's pretty good.
You can also use this, I don't know, to move an opposing character home from a troublemaker face-off. It's basically looking at this and going, well, hey, remember that little Zippo with all the puppies?
Puppies.
So many,
Pudding.
so many puppies.
Snick.
Kind of like that.
Yep, also good with Pirate Ship. This also happens to work particularly well with Mr. and Mrs. Shy, which give all of your friends at home Swift. So,
So it does.
I'll DFO, and then this goes home, and then I'll pay 1 at immediate speed to move this up. And then pay 1 and move one of your things away.
I remember when we were afraid of Swift hats.
Now we just want Swift hats.
And then we printed a Swift cloud. That was quite a few sets ago.
Yes, it was. Joking Luna asked if every color is getting agile. Well, note that each of the cards that we've shown here has either blue or yellow on it.
So there might be a little bit of crossplay, but I guess we're just going to have to wait and find out.
Yep.
I got you, Blue.
I got you, yellow. She doesn't want blue.
Drata asks if this will be able to be used before Jerk Dash. Yes, you can move stuff around at the end of your opponent's turn.
But you can't use it at the start of your turn before.
Correct. That is a trigger.
Because triggers are faster than activated abilities. Yep.
Quite triggering.
But
You
I
weren't
think
here, like, how long was that? A month ago when we were doing the
the
rules
trigger. It was only
Yeah.
like 3 weeks ago. It wasn't that long.
Yeah, it was the week before Continentals.
We already made all the trigger jokes. Sorry, you missed it.
That's okay. I'll make him again.
Fair enough. Well, I think that's gonna about wrap up our spoilers for today. And our discussion of Continentals.
Yeah, I think so.
Hope you like the spoilers. We'd of course like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. And if you aren't currently a patron and you enjoy what we do, please consider donating, as doing so enables us to continue making content like this. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, or if you're just interested in hearing about what we're working on for the future, there are many ways you can stay in contact. We have our Patreon, as mentioned previously, but you can also reach us through Facebook, Twitter, and email. Patrons at or above the $5 per month level also get access to our Slack channel, where you can chat live with us any day, anytime. There's a lot of times that someone's going to be up late. It's usually not me. I'm an old footy
Not
buddy.
anymore.
Not anymore. It used to be me.
It's sometimes me, but not always.
If you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, linked in the sidebar, and please make sure to subscribe while you're there, so we can have a channel URL that makes a little more sense. With all that said, though, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grandpaws.
Big cheese.
Arcat and
Ivory Starlight.
And we'll see you all soon.
Bye.
bye.
Bye.